40 days sober of weed. And this is what I'm observing, this is what I'm learning. Kind of key things that I want to document so that every time I make a break from weed, I can see what are the things that have come up in between of not smoking, right? So the number one thing that is coming up is in this stage of my life, I'm noticing that I'm having harder time relaxing without weed, and the main reason why I used weed was relaxation and escaping some things that I need to face. Now, the first part of the reflection in the future I always want to make about understanding why I was using weed before I made a break, because in my whole life I've been smoking for 15 years. Like, I used weed in so many different ways, and I decided to make a break right now because it started to feeling like it's not that beautiful relationship that I used to have with weed, right? It felt more toxic, it felt like a habit, it felt something I'm doing every day, and without even knowing why. So number one thing when it comes to reflecting on your break is, why did you use weed until the break? And the second thing is understanding, like, grounding it even more deeper in me. Why did I take a break? And that was, yes, because it became like a crutch. And as much as I hate to say it, because I don't think weed should be like that, that's how you know when it's time to take a break. When it's just like, it's not supportive in the way where you're really feeling like you're moving forward, or you would move forward in the direction where you want to go on your own. Third reflection that I am seeing is that it's super healthy to make a break. That it is a little bit hard in the beginning, because if you've been smoking for, like consistently for 3 months, 6 months, a year, especially if you've been smoking every day, it's kind of hard to just, give up on that. So yeah, that's definitely something important to consider, and understand that nothing will go wrong. Like, if you have all these thoughts and ideas all the time about weed, of like, maybe you're thinking every day while you're smoking, like, oh, am I addicted? Do I really need to smoke every day? What would happen if I stop smoking? I think it's nice to just take a break and also kind of prove to yourself and the voices in your head that you can just stop if you want, and nothing terrible will happen in your life, right? Again, the first few days are hard. The first week might be, the hardest probably. And I think it's important, if you're a conscious and aware person, to start identifying what are all these things that you're missing in that first week, in the second week, and consistently, whenever you think about smoking in the phase of a break, ask yourself, like, what am I really lacking right now? What do I really want right now that I feel weed is giving me, and that I'm not experiencing right now, I'm not feeling right now? It might be more fun, more creativity, more feeling. That might be the thing. And I think it's important to pinpoint those things so that you know what to work on. Like, weed is such a beautiful mirror, right? It's showing you like where you can grow, and it's showing you how to relax into your highest version of you. Like, I like to say the most relaxed version of you, and the highest also makes sense. But we need to ground that, right? And if we don't have that balance in between, like going high and then coming down to earth, grounding and taking action based on what we want to do, it can be tricky. Like, especially if you have some things in your life that are things you have to tackle, the things you have to solve, and you're just not focusing on them, especially if that's health, right? So that's my next point. So health is the one that is super important, right? So, like, if you're noticing that, for example, you're not working out, you're not eating right, you are not feeling good in general in your body, then weed might be, not super helpful. I'm talking about, healthy people who are young, vital in general. And if you're having harder time just like, going for a run, doing some sports, going to the gym, taking care of your body. If you used to be in a phase of life when you used to train, you used to be active, and now you're less active, I think weed can help you, right? It can help you um, to relax when you're doing a lot of sports, but when you are not, when you're not doing a lot of sports and you used to, weed might be also the reason and the cause. And not saying that, it's a bad thing, because maybe that's what you needed. Like, you needed to relax, you needed it. And now it's time to go back into action, get more in your body. Because weed, if you don't know how to use it intentionally, it's very easy, it becomes something that pulls you more into your mind. For me personally, I am so now 40 days clean, and I am also honestly not doing a lot of things for fun at the moment, and that's been a weird one. And the biggest thing when I'm seeing, like, when I want to smoke is like when I want to have fun. So that's interesting reflection to think about, like, what is it in, like, what do I think that I want to use weed for? And also something that helps me a lot right now, what I'm doing is a parasite detox. You can research online, there's a bunch of different things you can do to detox from parasites. I'm basically using a combination of wormwood, clove, black cumin oil, and what else? I definitely use some curcuma, black pepper. You can use papaya seeds. And yeah, I'm definitely stepping up my game with immunity. I'm back to the protocol of using adaptogens, which is for me, I use reishi. No, actually, I don't use reishi. I use chaga mushroom. I use lion's mane, and I use turkey tail. And also supplementing myself with vitamin C, magnesium, and stuff like that. It's been super nice, just to get back into that vibe of, like, I'm consistently taking care of myself and hydrating myself more, things like that. Very, very supportive. And now when it comes to some other things in this reflection that I'm noticing is, I do notice that I have less motivation for things. And like, I looked a little bit at the book Dopamine Revolution or something like that, where the author is basically saying how these substances can affect our drive for motivation. And if you use the weed as much as I have, it's very possible that now the pattern your brain is recognizing for motivation is triggered by weed, right? And I would say that I was a functional stoner. And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be blazed out of my mind every day, but I would probably, take a toke or two every couple of hours. And the weed strength would probably be, depends, but like not very strong for today's standard, right? For the standard of 15, 20 years ago, still very strong. Like, I would say anywhere from 13 to 17% THC. Sativa, right? That's what would be keeping me going. So that's been an interesting one, and I'm still looking into it. As in the same time, I cannot just say it's weed, because I am in a big transition period in my life. So context matters. Context matters a lot, and each detox is gonna be different. It's like, it just depends where you're at in life. And for me right now, like, I went through some massive changes in the last 6-7 months. I went from being in a long-term relationship, living quite a comfortable life, having predictable amounts of money coming in every month, to through breaking up and going to Africa for 3 months by myself, falling in love very quickly after the breakup, and moving in together. It's crazy, I know. To a different country, and yeah, taking care of more than just of myself right now financially, and to completely shifting my life to understanding that there is a certain path that I can follow in life to make money, there's things I'm good at doing, that I'm comfortable, that I can, continue making money my whole life and I would be good, right? But there's something within me saying like, there's more, there's more to experience, and you're destined to be a creator. And you're destined to guide people through transformational journeys. And all of these things happening at once. Not to mention that when I went to Africa, I lived like 7 hours away from the closest city. I lived in nature. I was barefoot most of my days, eating like 7 or 8 ingredients, and that's it. High quality fish, training, being on the sun a lot, living really like my dream life. And then coming back to Europe, and don't get me wrong, I'm blessed. I live life of so many freedoms that most people don't have, my age and older. But still, like, I can't compare myself to others, because that's not leading me anywhere. And taking this break from weed in the same time as all this is happening, while weed was that one, medicine that I would consume to help me out through this process, to stay relaxed and tapped into the vision, it almost feels like I'm recreating the vision about my life completely. And a lot of that vision is also being created by the creator, something bigger than me, something outside of me. And it's intense. And I say a lot, but it's cool. I'm just seeing some surfers. I didn't know you can surf here where I live. I just moved in Spain again after living here for 3 years in the past. It's pretty cool to see, because I actually have to pick up my stuff from Portugal, bring it here, and I have my surfboard there. So hey, there we go. But yeah, that's kind of like the main things that I'm reflecting on right now. Something that I'm thinking moving forward, what I would do differently. I would definitely, before taking a break, I would first of all have a safe place that I call my own. Like, when I did this break, I didn't even know where I'm gonna live, so I was kind of like homeless. And that was a big stress for me, to kind of find a house where I'm going to be spending the winter. I didn't have a car, so I didn't have a way to move around. I was paying for rental companies and stuff like that, like stupendous amounts of money. But I bought a car, super happy. Blessed. And I would definitely get locked in my routine sooner, like working out, drinking way more water, doing my supplements, meditating, journaling, having my money straight. That's something that the next time I take a break, I would definitely make sure it's figured out first, and then ease myself into those things, because then the routine is kind of a driving force, a motivator to move forward. Because I also think it's, because of where I'm at right now in life, it's unfair to say that, I don't feel as motivated or something, or driven, because I don't smoke weed. I think I'm just in a stage where I'm choosing my aim again. You know what I mean? Like, in last 4 years in life, I kind of had an aim of where I'm going, but all of that just crashed completely. So it's time to rebuild. It's time to build something different, something bigger, something more aligned, something more aligned for me. And honestly, it's time to start serving the world. And I'm not gonna lie, like, there is a big self-doubt coming up, and I guess weed helped me to tune down that self-doubt, as it tunes down some other things that are maybe useful to not tune down. Definitely tune down self-doubt, and I would just be in a ridiculous self-belief. And many times, actually the biggest times in life when I made big changes, quantum leaps, like I'm talking completely changing my life in 30 days, completely 360 degrees, from having no money, living with my parents, living in the country where I don't feel supported, I don't have a tribe, I don't have a community, I don't have friends that I resonate with, I'm not having fun, to in 30 days making good money consistently, living in another country that I vibe with, having a community, having a rich social life, enjoying what I'm doing, being driven, working out, like all those things in 30 days, bro. Like 30 days. And it typically started with me just smoking a joint, honestly, and going on a long ass fucking walk with myself and just declaring 5 things I want to do. So I'm ending up being on a rant, and I'm grateful that I'm recording this because I know that I will need to watch this again. And I'm thinking, like, should I even go again and just summarize the key points for you guys and then make this video for me, to just be more of service and not, throwing out my personal life out there. But fuck it, that's what makes me relatable, I guess. That's what I hope some of these things resonate with you. Maybe some of things inspire you. Like maybe you never believed enough in yourself to be like, yeah, I'm gonna change my life in 30 days and it's going to happen, and you actually did it. Maybe you did, but it's been a very long time since you've done such a rapid transformation in your life. And at this point, I'm declaring that I'm ready to get my freedom, to step into my freedom again with myself internally, and stop taking things so seriously, honestly. I think that's the big one. And I also reminding myself and you that if you're if you have a relationship with weed where you're aware, like you're aware that this is a tool, you're aware that weed is a teacher, you're aware that it comes with lessons, and you're aware that you don't want to be in a codependent relationship where you can't live without it, right? Because in general, I don't think it's super wise to be in a position where you're dependent on something. But if you're aware that like you want to be researching and learning this tool and going through this ups and downs until you only see the up, right? I want to remind you that, and myself, that there is time. Life is long. And even if you're like, oh my god, I'm smoking weed for 5 years, 15 years, or am I a loser, blah, blah, blah. You still have your whole life. Maybe you stop smoking weed at 40, maybe at 50, maybe at 70, maybe never. Maybe that's just your fucking thing. That's okay. And there's a lot of very successful people who smoke weed. And I'm not talking just successful money-wise. I think successful people who are in a really good state of being. They're in a really good vibes. People who are really present, really grounded. And yeah, man, I just show yourself some love. Like, you're doing really fucking good. You're doing really fucking good. There's a lot of stuff that's on your plate. There's a lot of things that we are going through. For the first time ever on this planet, there are changes that are happening, things that are happening that, are intense. Like, nobody taught you how to go through these things, and our parents didn't have the same life, didn't grow up with technology, didn't grow up with the spiritual warfare that's going on, didn't grow up with awareness of how the governments are, trying to have this massive control over everything we do. Hyperinflation, like, it's hard, man. Like, it's hard. And yes, life is what you make it, but I just want to remind you that you have chosen to live in these times somehow on a soul level. Believe it or not, you chose to come here in this time. And you chose to come in this time because you wanted this fucking challenge. Like, you really wanted this fucking challenge. And you just have to stay mindful of that. Let me remind you that this is your choice. Your existence on this planet right now is your choice. So, what are you gonna make it? There's time. There is time. And I know a lot of people want to say there's no time and we have to hurry, we have to rush. By the end of the day, it's you who is choosing to put those voices in your head and follow them. So the final thought is for you and me, whenever you notice rush, whenever you notice there's not enough time, take a deep breath, relax, and know that's a lie. There is time. There is time. Much love, guys. Catch you soon.